What's it like to fly Qatar Airways' longest flight? I joined the pilots to find out. Flight number QR920 departs Doha, Qatar at 1:40 a.m. and 16 hours and 15 minutes later lands in Auckland, New Zealand. 3 days later, the same flight crew pilots QR921 all the way back on a 17-hour and 25 minutes flight. There and back again, in 4 days. Do you know why the return flight is longer than the outbound flight? Drop your best guess in the comments and we'll like the correct answer. It all begins as the pilots arrive 2 hours before the first flight for their briefing at Qatar Airways Operations Center. I met up with the 4 pilots, Captains Omar and Nasser, and First Officers Curtis and Sebastian, as they discussed the flight plan, weather, and their individual responsibilities. And if you're wondering why there are 4 pilots, keep watching to find out. After the briefing, it's time to get to the plane. The Airbus A350-1000 is the most technologically advanced aircraft in the skies. First Officer Sebastian inspects the aircraft, then joins the rest of the team for final checks in the flight deck.
Please make yourself comfortable and I wish you a very pleasant journey aboard this Qatar Airways flight. Thank you very much.
Now we're ready to take to the skies.
Ready? Ready. Take off. Positive climb, gear up. Gear up. Down.
It's yet another beautiful takeoff, and look how stunning Doha is from above. As soon as the plane reaches cruising altitude of 20,000 feet, Flight Crew B moves to the rest area, while Flight Crew A fly the plane. What a truly special moment this was. To witness a sunset from this panoramic perspective is an experience I'll never forget. Good morning from the other side of the world. During the flight, the crew must perform duties such as monitoring the operation of the aircraft systems, communicating with ATC, observing the weather, and evading it if necessary. I asked what the stripes on the pilot's uniforms meant. It turns out 4 denotes captain, 3 denotes first officer. At around halfway through the flight, the rested Crew B swaps with Crew A. They'll be back in the flight deck in about 7 hours, ready to bring us into land. Throughout the flight, the pilots recharge their energy by eating award-winning meals at specific times over the course of the journey, one at a time, so that there's always one pilot at the controls. And I can tell you the food was truly first class.
Yeah.
16 hours and 10 minutes later,
1,000. Checked.
we arrived at Auckland International Airport.
400. Checked. 100 above. Checked.
And it was such a smooth landing, I hardly even noticed. Enjoying this content? Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest videos. Once all passengers have disembarked, the pilots and crew leave the airport for their hotel. While on their layover, the pilots must ensure they get ample rest. But of course they're allowed to explore the sights and sounds of Auckland while they're there. The movie adaptation of The Hobbit was filmed very close to Auckland. If you're a Tolkien superfan, you might have noticed my subtle Hobbit reference earlier on. Mention it in the comments and we'll give it a like. 2 days later, after the crew has gotten the necessary rest, the process begins again. The pilots brief the flight crew at the hotel, and then it's onto the bus to the airport. And when all passengers have boarded, we're ready for takeoff. Captain Nasser and First Officer Sebastian take the role of Crew A for this flight, so it's their turn to take off.
461, started using speed now 180 and descent to 2,500.
A smooth journey into the sky, and an incredible opportunity to see New Zealand's gorgeous landscapes from above.
Control 461, left heading 1.
Once again, at cruising altitude, Crew B retires to the rest area, and Crew A settle in to fly the plane for the next 8.5 hours. Crew B take over for the second half of the journey, And just like before, about an hour from landing, Crew A comes back into the flight deck to land the plane. Our world is vast, and connecting its many continents is not an easy task. But we go above and beyond to make sure our crew is prepared to provide passengers with a smooth and seamless flight, no matter how long the journey takes. And now we know what it takes to fly Qatar Airways' longest flight.